financial news at Finance Today MX, with our top story today. Amid market volatility, funds and ETFs offer attractive alternatives. Which one is right for you? Stories of the day. Amid market volatility, funds and ETFs offer attractive alternatives. Which one is right for you? The volatility observed in the market throughout this year is forcing investors and fund managers to seek strategies that allow them to optimize their resources. Among the main alternatives are mutual funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which provide access to highly sought-after global securities. However, it is important to understand some of the characteristics of each to choose the ideal one. Telcel receives a 1.8 billion peso fine for monopolistic practices, OXXO also fined. Telcel, the Mexican mobile phone operator of telecommunications giant America Mobile, was fined 1.782 billion pesos, $94 million, for providing incentives to the OXXO convenience store chain and others in exchange for not selling SIM cards from rival cellular operators. Fibra Uno will pay $550 million to internalize its management. Fibra Uno, the first real estate investment trust to list on the Mexican market, signed an agreement with the owners of the contracts that provided with planning advice and external representation, with the intention of internalizing those services. This decision responds to an industry trend that, according to the company's owners, will also be beneficial to them. Fibra E, which manages the plants that Mexico purchased from Iberdrola, collects $4.5 billion. The Mexican Energy Investment Trust, FEMEX, became the new e-fiber in the local market by executing an initial public offering through the Mexican Stock Exchange, as part of the Mexican government's plan to finance the purchase of 13 power plants from the Spanish giant Iberdrola. Business. Companies in Mexico see tariffs and the geopolitical environment as main risks, KPMG. Companies in Mexico see their short-term risks, or those in the next 12 months, as changes in the current geopolitical environment, 75%, and the imposition of tariffs on foreign imports, 75%, according to a study by the auditing and advisory services firm KPMG Mexico. Mondelez announces Vareza as new president in Mexico. Mondelez Snacking Mexico, a snack and confectionery company, announced the appointment of Carlos Vareza as its new president, a position he will hold effective July 1st. Openbank reaches 110,000 customers in Mexico 4 months after launch. Openbank, the digital bank of Grupo Santander, announced it has broken the 110,000 customer barrier in Mexico less than 4 months after launching its operations in the country, which has resulted in 1.33 billion pesos, just over $70 million so far.
Mercado Ads launches advertising solution for brands in Latin America. Mercado Ads, the digital media business unit of Mercado Libre, announced the launch of Display Extended Network, a solution that allows brands to impact audiences both inside and outside the e-commerce platform. Aeromexico opens AICM Punta Cana route in the Dominican Republic. Aeromexico, the country's flagship airline, announced it will open a route from Mexico City International Airport, AICM, to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, one of the most important destinations in the Caribbean. GM Financial Mexico appoints Garcia as acting treasurer. GM Financial Mexico, a company that provides financing for the purchase of General Motors vehicles, announced the appointment of Edgar Omar Garcia Rios as acting treasurer. Economy. Trump threatens Iranian leader amid tensions. U.S. President Donald Trump demanded Iran's unconditional surrender to end the war with Israel, while noting that Iranian leader Ali Khamenei is an easy target whose elimination has not yet been considered. Sheinbaum has called with Trump after cancellation of G7 summit meeting. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum will continue her working trip to Canada this Tuesday, as part of the summit of the Group of 7 Industrialized Countries, G7. Despite the cancellation of events due to U.S. President Donald Trump's premature departure from the forum, Trump rolls out negotiating a deal between Israel and Iran and suggests active U.S. participation. U.S. President Donald Trump dismissed reports Monday night that he would leave the Group of 7 summit in Canada a day early to work on a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, calling them fake and highly fabricated news. U.S. says retail sales have worst May in 15 years with a 0.9% drop. U.S. retail sales fell 0.9% monthly in May, marking their third decline this year, dropping from a revised $722 billion in April to $715.4 billion in the fifth month of the year, according to Census Bureau data. U.S. industrial production suffers from tariffs with a surprise drop in May. U.S. industry accentuated signs of a slowdown in May, weighed down by President Donald J. Trump's tariff policy, high interest rates, and other factors that point to persistent weakness throughout the year. Banxico's international reserves rise to $241.212 billion, marking a four-week high. Banco de Mexico's international reserves increased by $769 million during the week ending June 13th, reaching a new high of $241.212 billion. U.S. says import prices stagnate and export prices decline in May. Import prices in the United States remained stable and unchanged month-on-month in May, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS.
Thank you for listening us. If you have found this information useful, please help us by subscribing to the channel as well as share, comment, and click on the bell so you get the latest and greatest financial news every day. Sincerely, thank you. Have a good one.